So, answering this question is really interesting because we're faced with an ethical dilemma, and I'm going to answer it from the perspective of the instructor of the course. And I'm going to use the framework for solving or resolving ethical dilemmas provided to us through CPA. And I'm also going to look at the CPA's fundamental principles because they're very similar to the fundamental principles involved in this question as well. So I'm just going to read out the problem. A month after the mid-semester examination, a student approaches his instructor with a doctor's note and requests the instructor to ignore his poor exam performance by not including it in the computation of his final course mark. The student is aiming to become a manager. Do you see an ethical dilemma? Explain. What should be the conduct of a student who intends to become a manager? What would you do if you were the instructor for the course? So again, all of these questions I'm answering within this framework that we learned how to do. So the ethical dilemma really is just restating the facts in the question or the problem. So I'm going to do this in point form as well. Okay, so I'm going to say, I'm just going to restate the facts. A month after the mid-semester examination, and I'm just going to restate it in my own words. A student asked to not include their mark in the final grade because they were sick and provided you with a doctor's note. Keep in mind this is a month later. Okay. So there's lots of ethical issues involved in this question. And I think the one that I'm going to argue is fairness. So what you do for one student should apply to what you do for everyone. So in this case, if you're going to be throwing out the poor performance for one student, shouldn't you throw out the poor performance for everyone? And the problem, I guess maybe this is also an integrity or professional behavior violation as well, is that the student provided this doctor's note a month later, not when they were sick. And if there are rules around submission of medical documentation for the institution that you're at, then they may even be violating those rules as well. So I think the ethical issue then is the special request from the student may be unfair as other students will not be given this same option if you drop the grade. Okay, so again, lots of different fundamental principle violations, but I'm going to discuss this from the instructor's point of view. So I'm going to do it from the point of professional behavior. Okay, so special treatment for some could be considered a violation of professional behavior because the instructor may not be following or complying with the school rules. And I'll also do this from the point of view of the student. So the student submitting a request a month after the exam may be a violation of integrity, as they were not straightforward or honest when the exam occurred. So this is a month later, so that's really the problem here. Okay, so now our alternative courses of action could be, and I'm just going to do 3. I'm going to say do nothing, so don't change the student's marks, or change the student's, or not include, I should be more, not include the exam mark in the final grade for the student. Or another one, I usually like to have 3, is drop the lowest grade for everyone in the class. So then that way we're being fair with everyone. Okay, and so my recommendation for the instructor is to do nothing. And I think this is probably the fairest approach to take for all students, because the note wasn't submitted until a month after the exam, which goes against the rules regarding medical documentation for the institution. Because I do think that a month is a little bit too long for it to go by for anything positive to happen. Okay, and that's it.